Paul doesn't know who he's taking orders from. Paul is going to assume it's Roman because he's the only one that is referred to as the tribal chief. What is going on, everybody? It is I, the franchise, here, back at it with another installment of Wrestle Talk with yours truly. There is no outline for this here episode. Last week, as you guys know, was relatively a very quick episode because I had prior engagements that I had to deal with or I had to attend to. So I just wanted to just give y'all my thoughts on Backlash, and I left a lot of things out. And I wanted to, this week, kind of circle back around to that, talk a lot about what we are seeing within the Bloodline. That is one thing that I do really want to talk about, because we're getting... I really don't know how to take this Bloodline story. I really don't. You know, there's the idea, CM Punk kind of hinted on it during the pre-show, that maybe Solo is taking advice because he keeps saying that he got word from the tribal chief. And CM Punk said, well, maybe it's not Roman who he's referring to as the tribal chief. And there's been a lot of speculation circulating that we are going to embark on, and I've said it too, a Bloodline civil war, a new version of it, including Roman and the Usos against Solo, and I know they're probably not going to be referred to as the Guerrillas of Destiny, but GOD. With the surprise of The Rock being the one who has been giving orders to Solo Sikoa. Now, I know in previous times, there has been the tease or the talk that The Rock is the one who told Solo, who sent Solo. As we all know, Solo was sent by the elders, but we didn't really know who the elders are because it could be Alpha and Sika. It could have been The Rock. We all don't know. We won't find out until actually stuff starts to be more revealed. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Obviously, this month, May 25th, Memorial Day weekend, we are going to have the King and Queen of the Ring Premium Live event that is taking place in Saudi Arabia. And so far, with the exception of obviously the finals for the King and Queen of the Ring tournament, there were 3 matches that was announced this past week. We have Liv Morgan challenging Becky Lynch for the women's world title, and we have a triple threat for the Intercontinental title with Sami Zayn defending that Intercontinental title against Chad Gable and Big Bronson Reed. And then we have Cody Rhodes defending the undisputed championship against the United States champion, Logan Paul. And Cody hinted that this is a title for title match. I have my thoughts on that. I do. So, where do we begin? where do we begin? I feel like maybe since we're on the topic of King and Queen of the Ring, let's talk about that Premium Live event, shall we? And here's my thoughts. And I've always, even before it became King and Queen, when it was King of the Ring, I always had a question. Why do they not do this? When I think of the King and Queen, or the King of the Ring back in the day, and now I think of the King and Queen of the Ring, why is it that whoever was the king and now the queen, why are they not defending their throne? Like, I think it would have been a great idea for them to, as we know, the last king and queen of the ring was Xavier Woods and Zelina Vega. I feel though as if they should still be in that throne, and whoever moves on and advances to the finals faces the king and queen to see if they can dethrone that crown. I really truly think that's what they should do, because it's just like, okay, well, what happens? You know, this is the one tournament that I think that they could really build on. Because, Grant, we all know, theoretically, in the past with the King of the Ring, more so during the Brock era, the winners who won the King of the Ring was like, that was a guaranteed title shot for the WWE title. Could you do that? Yeah, you could do that. You can include that in there, but I think that you should have the current king and queen defend their crown. It makes sense. Like, why wouldn't you? But who do I have coming out of the King of the Ring tournament? It's a toss-up. It's a toss-up between Gunther and Tama Tonga. And the reason I'm going with Tama Tonga is because I think they're going to establish him. This is going to be the moment or the tournament to showcase his in-ring talent. I think this is the opportunity to put him on a level of dominance. And what better way to do it if you did go on to the finals to face arguably one of the most dominant people in the business right now in Gunther, and you have that take place. I think leading up to the finals, and I have to look closely at the bracket. Matter of fact, I believe that the way the bracket is set up, Gunther and Dragunov will cross paths. And when they cross paths, if you are not familiar with these two and their matches in NXT UK, boy, oh boy, we are in for, as they like to refer to, a banger after banger after banger match. Like, this is going to be arguably one of the greatest matches in King of the Ring history. I'm already declaring it right now if these two cross paths. I'm not going to say that Tama's going to run through the SmackDown side, but it may be an easier route for Tama over there than on Raw. On the women's side of things with the Queen of the Ring, there's no other person. This has Tiffany Stratton written all over it. Tiffy time as Queen of the Ring is the most fitting thing you can do. Now, I know a lot of us is thinking maybe it's going to be Jade Cargill. No. It's Tiffy time. It is. I think this is the moment, and this is fitting for her. It is. The role, the character, all of that with Tiffany Stratton fits being Queen of the Ring. It does. Simply put, it does. If she doesn't win Queen of the Ring, I know we live in a world in the wrestling community where it's like, well, we just have to wait and see. We have to see how this goes. But if Tiffany Stratton does not win the Queen of the Ring, I'm going to be very upset. Because if you give it to Jade Cargill, who already has won gold, there's no other reason why or what would you have to do. I know we're trying to put the rocket ship on her back and send her to the moon. But if we're going to be honest, these two right here, Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill, they are the future of this business. There's a list of other people. Roxanne Perez, Lola Vice, Jada Parker. She's really like, you want to talk about every element of a star. I see it in her. I see it in Miss Parker, as I believe that's what they refer to her on NXT. Her and Lola Vice, those two right there have a lot of the things that I like in a heel, or in the potential of what could be a heel. Attitude, that swag, that just like, I'm not calling her this, not in a negative way, but have that I'm that bitch, like that mentality you see in those two. Okay. So those are my picks. I have Tama Tonga and I have Tiffany Stratton coming out of that. Now, if it's not those two, my second options, even though I'm going to stick with my first option, but my second options will be Gunther and I'm going to throw a dark horse in there. I'm going to say Nia Jax. I'm going to say Nia. I'm going to say Gunther and Nia will be my second picks for King and Queen of the Ring. So next we have, continuing on with the talk of King and Queen of the Ring Premium Live, Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan. Now, this is where I think Liv is going to win the title. I do. They've also been throwing little hints and little Easter eggs of something going on between her and Dom. It'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Dom is currently sidelined with the injury. but we're seeing little hints. You know, a couple weeks ago, we seen in the background of a segment of an interview, backstage interview, we seen Dom coming out of the locker room, and Liv coming out the locker room a little later, like maybe a couple minutes after Dom came out, or vice versa. There's a couple photos that Liv had posted, and if you look closely, and this is where the investigation, how the internet, it's just, you want to talk about zooming in and doing all types of crazy shit. They zoomed in on Liv's pocket, and in her pocket she had a purple bandana, which we all know is signature for Dom, because Dom has the bandana. And she took the pictures in front of the trailer, or the production truck, with Rhea Ripley's face on it. So it's a lot of subtle jabs that Liv Morgan is taking directed at Rhea Ripley. But I do feel like this is going to be Liv's opportunity to win the Women's World title. Where does this go from here? I don't know. Will we get Rhea Ripley returning by SummerSlam? Depends. It really does. I'm under the impression that Liv or Rhea will be back by Royal Rumble, because they haven't really gave a update to her and her injury, which is what makes me think that maybe the injury wasn't, this is a work and not a shoot. I want to get away from using those terms, because I know Bully Ray had mentioned something about how he despises that these terms are now being used by people outside of the business. So is it an angle, or is this real? Like, did she really sustain an injury, or is this a part of a storyline? I feel like it's a part of a storyline. I feel like Rhea is going to come back, and she's going to take everything that's rightfully hers. This is the perfect opportunity for her to come back as a face, I just said I don't want to use, but come back as a face, because she's over with the fans. The fans love Rhea Ripley. I feel like Rhea's more of a tweener, because she can do both. Then we have the triple threat for the Intercontinental title match. Chad Gable, Big Bronson Reed, and Sami Zayn. I really don't know what they're doing with Chad Gable. I thought what they were doing was Chad Gable was going to like form a new version of the Alpha Academy, but have the Creed brothers involved in there. But we're not really seeing that. Maybe it is going to happen soon, but we're just not seeing it right now. Maybe it happens at Queen and King of the Ring. Maybe we do see that the Creed brothers do interfere and cause Sammy the match and give Chad that Intercontinental title. I really don't have a true investment into this particular match. So just wait and see. But let's get into the Cody Rhodes match. So let's get into this main event. And I'm gonna call it the main event because it's Cody versus Logan. Now, I have been on record in stating that I'm giving Cody Rhodes title reign. I'm going to see how it lasts going into Money in the Bank and or SummerSlam. I'm giving it that length of time. Other people are already saying this is trash. This title reign is horrible. We miss Roman. I kind of talked about it last week. I'm not going to gloss over it now. All I'm going to say is, all the Roman Reigns fans, we told you so. We told you you would miss him when he leaves. And it's been a month. It's been a month since Cody has dethroned Roman Reigns. And people are already wishing Roman Reigns is back. Not even for Cody's story. They just want Roman back. But Cody's his first defense was against AJ Styles on televised, like on main story. Now it's Logan Paul. Kind of weird, that selection. But I get it because it's in Saudi. They want Logan. Logan is a draw. I've said it before and I will continue to say it. Logan Paul really is great in the ring. And I think him and Cody will have a great match. But it makes you wonder. Because is it title for title? Is it winner take all? I won't consider it winner take all because it's a mid-card title. But why are we doing this? Because, see, now the wrestling fan is going to think y'all are trying to build Cody like Roman. And the last thing that we want, or the last thing I think Cody would want, is for anybody to literally look at Cody and say, you're trying to copy Roman. Why are you trying to walk around with 2 belts? You, like, and I've said it before and I'm going to say it again, Cody already don't know how to hold the title. How the hell do you think he's going to hold 2 titles? And are we really going to give the thought that Cody's going to lose to Logan Paul for the undisputed title? Like Logan Paul is going to walk out with the undisputed title? If that happens, do you understand do you understand how I will react if Cody Rhodes loses to Logan Paul? It's not a knock on Logan. It'll be more a knock on Cody. It'll be more of a, we don't really have that much faith in you, even though, I mean, we've seen the crowd react to when Cody comes out. Cody is loved by the fans. And this is a very interesting angle. I really am going to be very invested in paying close attention to how this story is going to get played out. Because right now, the biggest story in WWE right now is CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Next up is the Bloodline. That's the next big story, is the Bloodline. Cody should be 1 or 2. I think maybe the third biggest storyline is whatever's happening with the Judgment Day. and Damian Priest. Is Priest going to go against the Judgment Day? Is Judgment Day going to turn on Priest? Where are we going with that? That seems to be the question. And now we're sitting there, Cody's like fourth. Might not even be fourth. Cody should be, like I said, the number one story. But the number one story is between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. And that's not even on they haven't even physically since WrestleMania got into it. But they have pulled us in because of the story that has been told since CM Punk returned. And now, I didn't say we were going to talk about it, but let's talk about the CM Punk Drew McIntyre storyline, because that storyline is phenomenal. CM Punk trolling him with with the Kendrick Lamar. Was it Euphoria? Yes, it was Euphoria. Because when Kendrick goes on his list of, I hate the way you talk, hate the way you walk, hate the way you dress. And CM Punk took that and used it and said, I'm saying we. And when I mean we, I mean I'm speaking on behalf of the culture. And there's the shot of CM Punk. Matter of fact, you can see it right here. I'm gonna play it right here. Just right here. Right here.
About love and hate, now let me say I'm the biggest hater. I hate the way that you walk, the way that you talk. I hate the way that you dress. I hate the way that you sneak this. If I catch flight, it's gonna be direct. Notice I said we, it's not just me. I'm what the culture feeling.
They call me a five-tool player. Drew McIntyre, just a tool. Drew McIntyre, do you hate me or do you hate yourself?
Just chef's kiss. Because CM Punk and them, this is kind of, I would say, similar to how The Rock and Cena first started going back and forth and they were utilizing social media. That's what they're doing with this, with CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. That's what they're doing with this. They're utilizing social media to further push this story between the two of them. And I think we're going to get them at SummerSlam. I do. And the crazy thing, I don't think it's going to be for the title. I just think these two are just going to have a match to have the match. This ain't for no title. This is personal. That's what I think is going to happen. Wow, I just went through that whole entire King and Queen of the Ring. So let's dive into the Bloodline, shall we? Let's talk about the Bloodline. First things first. As I said earlier, CM Punk dropped a little bit of some breadcrumbs, a little bit of some things to make you think of. And I think we've all thought about it when, Solo was making reference to he got orders from the tribal chief. These are the orders that were sent to him. And it was kind of confusing because Heyman lies and says he hasn't talked to Roman since WrestleMania. He's the one that pulled Roman from the draft. Solo was saying that he spoke with the tribal chief, but Paul didn't ever sit there and think like, so if you spoke to the tribal chief, then you would have known I didn't speak to him. So who exactly are you getting your orders from? Obviously, we know that Tama Tonga and Tamaloa is there. And we got the hints. We got the little small details. It's the little details that we see that make this story so... It still continues to be one of the most driven stories in the business right now because of what we're seeing. You see, we're seeing a situation where Paul Heyman at Backlash, when they encountered Jey Uso, didn't even say nothing. He just gave Jey a look. And Solo brought that up to Heyman and said, the look that you gave my brother, was that a look of like, help? You need help? And you're noticing that Paul Heyman he has a sense of fear when it comes to Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tongaloa. He has this sense of like, okay, y'all motherfuckers are crazy. Like, Roman is Roman. And I know Roman can get to a point where it's intimidating because he has that stoicness and he just has this aura about him that is intimidating. But y'all are truly wild Samoans. Like, y'all are truly out of your mind. And you're seeing like how that kind of looks. And it's they are putting notice to how the guard has changed and we are dominating in ways that y'all are not used to seeing the bloodline dominate. We are striking fear into you guys. It's not a matter of, yeah, this is us and we're doing X, Y, and Z. No, it is a sense of fear. You know, Solo's walking around and it's just weird. One, it's weird seeing Solo in a suit. But this is the image that Solo is presenting. Solo is taking the bloodline and making it more into like a mafia style approach. Like he has his suit on. And he has the suit and God have, I believe they're in suits too. But we're seeing this and he has like gloves. Like it's like though as if Solo is like a henchman, but he's also like the boss for right now. And he's taking orders from the tribal chief. And we all know he's not taking them from Roman Reigns. Because when Roman Reigns reappears, when he resurfaces, we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to see. Because I do think they are going to cross paths. I do feel like it may be, and I just thought of this, maybe we get Jey Uso versus Tama Tonga in the finals for the King of the Ring. What if that happens? Because then, what if that is when Jey is getting demolished by the bloodline, and then Jimmy comes back. And And now we're starting to create, even though I want to see that reunion, I want to see it, but I don't want to see it in Saudi. Because I really think, Grant, that crowd, we've seen how the crowds overseas have been. But you want to see the Usos reunite. Oh my God! Like, just let it happen on would it be Extreme Rules? No. What will be the next pay-per-view in June? I don't know. Anyway, I would rather see it here. I don't want to see it overseas. That's just me. I'm sorry, but I just think that the reaction that you will get is going to be more appreciative in the States, if that makes any sense. But I can see Jey Uso and Tama Tonga in the finals. And I can see a situation where it does lead into a vicious attack. And Solo does show, and now Paul Heyman is stuck. And I've said it before, and I will continue to say this. The key to the Bloodline story is Paul Heyman. In some way, shape, or form, Paul Heyman is always going to somehow become a very pivotal role or pivotal piece to this storyline. And you see it with the way he's reacting, as though as if he's in fear of this entity, this newly found bloodline, this newly formed version of the bloodline. Because they're taking orders, but they don't know who they're taking. Paul doesn't know who he's taking orders from. Paul is going to assume it's Roman because he's the only one that is referred to as the tribal chief. And what I see happening is I see a situation in that let me not refer to it as a stupid belt, because it's not a stupid belt, but it's a belt that doesn't have any significance other than the fact that it was bestowed upon The Rock from Muhammad Ali's widow, because Muhammad Ali gave The Rock the blessing of being the people's champ. I think that title, because that is the only title right now in the Bloodline's possession, that will be the title that makes The Rock the tribal chief. Even though there's no, and now we're getting reports that it looks like at WrestleMania 41, it's going to be Cody versus The Rock. And The Rock is trying to push title for title. The People's Championship versus the Undisputed Championship. And let me make this clear. If we get The Rock versus Cody at Mania for the People's Championship against the Undisputed, I'm going to tell you this much right now. I'm going to get pretty fucking sick and tired of these quote-unquote unification belts or these unification title matches, because why? Or why are we doing this? Explain it to me. Hopefully we don't get that. Hopefully we do get Rock, Roman at Mania 41, because that story is bigger than anything else going on if you tell the story the correct way. And I feel like with Triple H doing an amazing job with creating these stories, I think we're going to get more from this story. As he said in his press conference after WrestleMania, the next chapter in Roman Reigns' story is going to put Roman Reigns on a level that we don't even know. He's going to traject in a way that we've never seen. And if you tell that story through the bloodline and it leads to The Rock and Roman having their face-off at WrestleMania 41 for a title that's bigger than any title, and that's head of the table in that family, and they can go to the Polynesian Samoan roots and do something to that degree and really bring the culture of their people into this. It will be probably one of the best matches that we've seen. It probably will go down as one of the greatest WrestleMania main events of all time. Because remember, WrestleMania is a 2-night event. So you could have that main event. You could. But just have to wait and see. So that's all I really much have for this episode of Wrestle Talk with the franchise. I know there was some things that were said out of certain people's mouths, and I am going to go back to my position of really not really giving that man any attention. If I'm going to talk about anything within AEW, it is going to be anything that I feel is good. And right now, there's nothing good in AEW right now. So with that being said, let me know what you think of this episode. Let me know what you think of, where do you see the Bloodline storyline going? What is your thoughts? Who do you have coming out of King and Queen of the Ring tournament? And so far, those 3 matches that have been announced, who do you think is going to come out on top? Where do you think, the storyline is going with Cody Rhodes? What do you think of Cody Rhodes' first 30 days as Undisputed Champion? Let me know in the comments below. I will be back next week with another installment of this episode of this here show. Make sure that you follow Royal Club on Instagram at RCW_podcast, and also make sure that you follow the Ace as well on his personal Royal Club page, RCW_Ace. I am the franchise, better known as the Podcast Tribal Chief. I am out till next week. Later.